Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome along to the Joie Stadium and welcome along to Matchday Live for this huge fixture in our WSL title charge as we welcome Arsenal to the Joie Stadium and, of course, celebrating a very, very special final home game for the one and only, the legend Steph Houghton. Let's get into it straight away then. Your starting 11 as chosen by Gareth Taylor shapes up like this. Keating in goal. Then we have Kasparai, Alexandri, Greenwood and Uabi. Hasegawa, Park and Coombs in the midfield, and Fowler, Hemp and Chloe Kelly making her 100th appearance today in a Manchester City shirt. To the bench, Stokes, Houghton, Angeldal, Morgan, Pritchard, Blinkilda Brown, Mace and Kennedy. I am so excited for this, and here's a little something to whet the appetite.
Does it end City's title hopes already? No one's ever won the league after more than 2 defeats.
It's a mountain to climb. I just think it's a bad time for City to be playing this Manchester United side.
Remaining unbeaten now is the objective for the rest of the season.
Hemp! Brilliant! Gareth Taylor's side bounce back from those back-to-back defeats in style. Spurs were simply blown away by a sensational Manchester City.
Is there, and somehow Keating makes another save.
At the end of the day, we know these big games coming up are going to define our season.
And Hemp! This is stunning for Buddy Shaw.
This is the first time since 2016 that Chelsea have lost to both Arsenal and City in league season, and that season Man City went on to win the league.
When you play against Arsenal or Chelsea or Man United, we know the importance of the game, there's no doubt, and this is what we wanted. We wanted to be in this position.
What a strike and what a goal!
It's that huge game for Man City, second last game of the season when they play against Arsenal. But you can see this is just going to go on and on and on. They're in such good form at the moment.
And this Manchester City winning machine just keeps on rolling.
City, I think, are the most informed team in the WSL at the moment.
Welcome along, Manchester City fans around the world. My name is Cel Spellman, and what a pleasure it is to be with you. And not just a pleasure, a privilege, as we, of course, are celebrating the legend Steph Houghton's final home game here at the Joie Stadium. To build up to today's game against Arsenal, I'm joined by none other, the dream team of Shaun Wright-Phillips and Tash Harding. We're back, my friends.
Back. Definitely back.
Tash, how are we feeling? I don't know, there's a real excitement in the air today.
Yeah, I am excited, and again, obviously, to see Steph potentially play her last game. But me and Shaun was chatting earlier. It'll be still a tough game. This is still Arsenal. You know, it's not no disrespect to Bristol. It's not them coming here. This is Arsenal.
Yeah.
Proven winners. So I think it'll be a tough game, but still looking forward to it.
It's interesting that as well, Tash, isn't it? Because I think we lost 2-1 there earlier on in the season, one of only the 2 defeats they've had. So it shows the strength of them. But do you reckon that's almost fuel to the Manchester City player in a way?
Yeah, and Arsenal have already won silverware. They won the Conti Cup, so you know they might take their foot off the gas. They can't really win the league, but I think they'll still make it difficult. I think history's proven over the few years that these 2 teams have played against each other. It's not going to be an easy game. So yeah, obviously I still want City to win, but I do think it's going to be a difficult game anyway.
It's going to be difficult for sure. Gareth Taylor has given his starting 11. We gave it at the start of the show, Shaun. Could I get your initial thoughts on that? It's very strong.
Oh, it's always going to be a strong team, I think. Tash has obviously alluded to how tough of a game this is going to be. Obviously, City will play a little bit different in the terms to their attacking approach because they don't have the physical presence of Bunny Shaw and her ability, so you have to play a little bit different with Chloe Kelly. She'll run in behind, which opens up spaces for people like Jess Park to get into and dribble in and make things happen. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing how City play today.
It was Mary Fowler as well who stepped up with the goal in the last game as well. Great performance from her. Hopefully another goal for today, maybe, Shaun.
You always want your attackers to score a bit. If she can roll on to this game like she finished the next game and go in. You scored 2 goals the last game, try and score a hat-trick this game, sort of thing, do you know what I mean? Then we'll all be delighted in the stadium. But if you saw some of the finish, one of her finishes were unbelievable. It was very well taken, and we were hoping to see that, but let's not get away from the fact we're playing against a very good Arsenal team here. So
absolutely, midfielders we know key in any game. It gives me a chance to mention Hasegawa, who for me I've just loved watching all season. Young Jess Park in there as well, and of course of Coombs as well. How key are those three players going to be in trying to secure the win against Arsenal today?
Yeah,
Tash?
I think obviously Hasegawa, we spoke about it. We could have done a whole segment on her, couldn't we, really?
Yeah.
But I think Coombsy's come in because she's got legs, so I think they'll need to try and get legs in and around Kim Little, because I think Kim Little's very similar to Hasegawa and how she plays, controls the play and finds the little passes, the pockets that Arsenal need. So that's why I think Coombsy's in there, to give them legs to press her, to maybe hurry her up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then Jess Park, like Shaun said, I think if she can find the gaps that, Mary Fowler, Chloe Kelly or Hemp can create for her, I think that's where City will probably counteract what Arsenal are trying to do on the ball.
We know as well, obviously, Arsenal strong going forward as well. I'm just thinking about the forward line. Don't know if you'll see behind us in a second the legend Shaun Goater. Go on, Shawnee!
Come on,
baby! Come over, Shaun. Mate, we're gonna get Mr. Here he is, the legend that is.
What's going on? You good?
Shaun.
Hello. Hey, look.
How are you?
Oh, we're live?
We're live, baby.
Oh, sorry. All right. Oh.
I just thought I'd steal you while you're just surveying the pitch. How are we feeling today, Shaun?
Oh, we're feeling really good. I mean, it's a beautiful day. We know we don't get Manchester weather like this. I agree. Yeah, the girls are feeling really good. Gareth's got them in the right place right now. Everyone's excited. Yeah, really excited.
We know it's a difficult opposition today, Arsenal, but how confident are you in the girls, and what can we expect to see from them today, Shaun?
Yeah, I think we want to remain calm. I think that's the most important thing. We know everything's in our hands, so it's just about remaining calm from the first minute to the last minute, because you start to play the occasion, then you get anxious. You get a little bit more desperate. So I think it's about having the composure throughout the game. And we should be able to, the pitch is in great condition, play our way through the thirds and build up and be good.
Of course, really gutted what happened with Bunny Shaw. Picked up the injury, obviously won the Writers' Award, deservedly so. But it's Mary Fowler, we said, stepped up last week, and we've still got goals. Chloe Kelly on the pitch as well. How confident are you that we won't miss her too much?
Yeah, well, listen, Bunny, every team will miss her, but because of the quality that we have, the quality of players that can come in and do a role, we saw Mary Fowler go up the middle. Chloe started up the middle, but Mary went up in the middle towards the second half, led the line very well. Chloe was doing a great job. Hemp, we know, also can do a great job. That's the versatility that we have, and that's what Gareth likes. He likes to be able to say, sometimes he says, listen, amongst yourselves, you sort it out. You could switch who goes up the middle, because they all understand how we're playing.
Goals, right? So I know obviously you work closely with Bunny Shaw, but she's a natural striker.
Yeah.
So you're teaching a natural striker thing. How is it coaching Chloe through the middle and teaching her to now think striker rather than winger?
Yeah, it's a difference, because Chloe, again, is an exceptional winger. She knows how to, take players on, but being a centre forward is different, and she understands that. The first thing she said was, she went to Bunny, she says, "Oh, I'll stop complaining now. I realize how difficult it is," because it's about timing of coming to receive balls, and when players are physically stronger, let's say, so if she's up the middle, or when she's a wide, she sees the play all the time, so she can open her body up and take players on. But as a striker, sometimes the defender's behind you, and so that's what she finds really weird and strange, because she's receiving ball, and sometimes she's got the time to have another touch and pass it, and she's first touching it because she's thinking they're really close, so it's making her aware of that, and she's now starting to have a little bit more understanding. Bunny's been talking to her, sharing that bit of information, but we're good. She's in a good place.
Shaun, final thing. I was with Joie Royal yesterday, who was waxing lyrical about you, as were the guests on the show. And also when we spoke to the players here in the women's team and Gareth, just really no one could sing your praises high enough. I just wondered, how has your time been this season coaching the girls? Have you enjoyed it?
Oh, it's been absolutely immense. It really has. Again, because of the quality that we have, and looking at them in their own unique way, it's just adding little bits to help them, push them on even more. So each player just giving them little targets that they can try to reach and push themselves even further. So Mary is a player, I really like working with her, because she's almost like percentage-wise, like 49, 51% in terms of her left foot and right foot.
Wow.
If she has a shot with her right foot, she could do the same with her left. It's really bizarre. It's a unique And so it's really good. If somebody wants to send her one way, she can go the other way and be very comfortable. Bonnie, I think she's the best in the world, and the centre forward that she is. It's a shame that she's injured, but she's great to work with. And Hempo, wow, Hempo just, game after game, just delivers. It's just a joy. It's a real joy. So I'm really excited to be around it and keep giving them little tips.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Shaun, I'll let you get back to it. Thanks for coming over, and honestly, congratulations.
Yeah, baby.
I love you, baby. Thanks, Shaun. Thanks so much.
Thank
there we go.
And he says, yeah, baby, in his Austin Powers voice.
Shaun, I mean, you know as well, his energy, just to take a moment to appreciate the GOATs, it is infectious, and anyone I speak to says he's been like that from when he played for City, and we feel it on the show. He's been a great addition to Gareth Taylor's team. It's
somebody you always, to me, need in a dressing room, because even on bad days, the GOATs is like that. And like when you're in a position that these City women are in right now, and it's an unbelievable run, sometimes you need a little distraction to take away from the seriousness of the environment that you're doing, just to relax you a little bit mentally. And GOATs does that on a daily basis, and it's almost by accident. That he doesn't realise that is just his personality.
Yes, of course. And actually, just let me touch on there, the versatility of the players that Gareth and this squad have at the disposal is arguably probably one of the best in the league, and actually is where, when you do lose someone like Bunny Shaw, we're able to adapt, and you've got those players, Hemp, Chloe Kelly. These are big names in the game, Tash.
Yeah, well, I think you can only look at Chelsea, right? So they lost Sam Kerr, one of their biggest players in their squad, and I think they've struggled to replace the amount of goals and maybe the hard work. I like Ramirez. I think she's a very talented player, but Sam Kerr's done it season in, season out, and they haven't replaced her. Whereas City, very similar to the men's team, they're able to cope without a striker. Yeah. They're able to,
because it's almost like they play a system.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
Like no player is bigger than that system.
So do you get a player to fit the system, or do you get the system to fit the players?
I think if you're a club like Man City, you buy unique players that fit into the way City want to play. Yeah. There's always going to be that odd one or two players that don't necessarily fit the system, that know how to play the system, but you implement something else into that system to give something else, if that makes sense. And that's sort of what I feel like City have in this team. Because of the way the system's built, they can put Chloe Kelly up front, because they retain possession of the ball so well that those passes will come down the side, and she's quick enough to get on the end of it. And we've seen her quality in front of goal.
Absolutely. And we've just seen as well, they've just taken to the pitch right behind us to start warming up. There's the legend as well, Steph Houghton, for a final home game.
She's playing up.
Yes, legend. Listen, she's coming over.
She's coming over.
What's happening, Ledge?
We're okay. Good luck, Steph. Honestly, the biggest legend around, and obviously today as well, not only about trying to secure 3 points, but celebrating the unbelievable career in a City shirt Steph Houghton has had. Let's take a pause. Gareth Taylor caught up with us a few moments ago to give us his thoughts ahead of the game.
Gareth, thanks for speaking to us. Sell-out crowd today, huge game. I'm sure you've been counting down the days to this match.
Well, yeah, to all of the games, we've just been taking them, one game at a time, chalking them off, and of course, final home game for us. So looking forward to that, sharing it with the supporters, and hoping that we can produce the right outcome.
Obviously, the big news in the week was Chelsea slipping up. Does that alter anything about today's game or your preparations for this one?
No, not at all. It can play on your mind a little bit, but I don't think it should. We've kept the concentration on us, kept the concentration on our next game. What happens elsewhere is not in our control. We just have to try and control the controllables.
So in terms of going for a win today, obviously got that win at Bristol City last week. They kept it very tight for an hour. How important was that sort of as a learning about being patient today?
Yeah, it's huge. It always is. I think we're at our best when we're calm and collected, and you saw no change in us in the second half. We were still working the process we tried to all of the time, and just took that one moment for it to happen for us, and we started to gain up, obviously, then and scored a few more goals. So yeah, we need to be calm today, be really calm and collected in trying to gain our objective.
This Arsenal side is obviously full of quality. Perhaps not had the season that they wanted this year. Will they come here with a point to prove?
Who knows? Who knows? It's really hard to say what they will do. I don't think you'll ever get any team in the WSL lying down. But of course, we just need to generate our own atmosphere today with what we do and how we play. think be calm in the first moments of the game and try and dominate and play in their half as much as we can.
And in terms of atmosphere, it's an opportunity for the fans to say a thank you and a farewell to Steph Houghton today. What has she meant to this club and to you as well?
She's meant everything to all of us. I think it's going to be a huge loss when we lose Steph in that space, particularly for myself in terms of how she's driven the players, especially this season, and all of the qualities she's brought as a human being.
Fantastic. Thanks for your time and best of luck today.
Taylor there, thank you for your time, sir. Of course, wishing him luck as we are taking on Arsenal here at the Joie Stadium. And now we are joined by Mr. Gavin Makel. Now, Tash, I have to ask you, you know Gavin? I believe that was from your time here.
I do, yeah. He signed me and I loved the club ever since, really. He took a chance on me. Not many people knew who I was, just a bit of a loose cannon, really. But no, I loved my time here. I learned so much in football, developed me as a footballer, loved the city, and it made me fall in love with the club. So I'll always be in debt to Gav, so for making that come true.
Gav, thank you so much for your time. We wanted to bring you in because you were the man responsible for bringing arguably probably the biggest legend we've had at the club, one of them, Steph Houghton, to Manchester City. Can you tell me what impressed you when you wanted to bring her in and what made you make that move?
Well, I mean, at the time we obviously didn't have a team, so we knew that we had to build something from scratch, if you like. And as with all great teams, you work through the spine, and you know, together with Steph and Jill, Tony Duggan, and KB and Karen Bardsley, those are the 4 players that we went for straight away to try and get that spine together with top-class players who have WSL experience and international experience. And I think Steph at that time was probably arguably the most high-profile player in the league, really, given what she'd done in the Olympics in 2012, and she was captain in Arsenal at the time as well. And she took a big leap of faith to leave Arsenal at that time and come to a club where we had no history at that moment in time, or very limited history in terms of at the top level. So it took a number of months to try to convince her. I brought her here when this was just brown field.
Wow.
And we had the high-vis jackets on, we had the safety hats on, and I had to sell her the vision. But she always bought into it very quickly, and she knew she wanted to be part of something right from the beginning. And to be honest, you know, I think we all had expectations of how it would be in terms of Steph, but she's exceeded that by a long stretch.
That's what I wanted to ask, and I'm going to ask this to Steph later, hopefully. Could you ever have imagined when this was just groundwork and you were signing Steph and Jill and KB, that here we would be going for another WSL title, but also now with the reputation of being probably one of the biggest and best women's teams in the world?
No, and the game's grown so much in that 10 years since we came into the WSL. I mean, having days like this, as you say, fighting for the title, a lot of media attention on it. The profiles of the players is raised dramatically throughout that time. But it's great to see, and you know, going back to Steph, she deserves everything that she gets in terms of the plaudits and everything else, because she's not just been an incredible player, she's an incredible person. She's so resilient. Her leadership, I can't speak highly enough of her. We've only got a couple of minutes, so probably not enough words to do her justice. But she's a friend. I wish her all the best at what she does going forward, and I'm just really proud of everything that she's achieved both on and off the pitch, really.
It's beautifully put, Gavin. Well, I feel on that note, that's perfect now to hear from some Manchester City fans who are now going to express their love and gratitude to Steph as well. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for bringing Steph as well to the club. The rest is history. Let's hear what the fans make of our legend, our hero, our leader, Steph Houghton.
So, Steph has obviously been a massive part of the club's continued success. What legacy do you think she'll leave behind?
I don't know, again. An everlasting legacy for young players coming through, local.
So what are your thoughts on the season as a whole? So, Steph has obviously been a massive part of the club's continued success. What legacy do you think she'll leave behind?
I don't know, again. An everlasting legacy for young players coming through, local people as well.
And like I said, it's her last home game of the season before she retires. Do you have a message or a best memory of her time at City?
Winning the league. I'd say back, is it 2016 it was? Yeah. When she lifted the trophy then, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And how do you feel about it being Steph's last home game? Are you emotional?
A bit emotional.
Yeah.
Be sad to see her go.
I know, but it's good that it's our first game because it's his first ladies one I've got down to, so Yeah, it's quite good that way.
Good inside at the same time.
Yeah.
I really like how she's our captain and she gives good instructions out.
Amazing. So she's been a massive part of the club's continued success. What legacy do you think she'll leave behind?
Just keep playing as good as she can be, and yeah.
And how do you feel about it being Steph's last game?
A bit sad, but she's done a lot of good games and she's just going to continue it on in the future with her memories.
Do you have a message or a best memory of her time at City?
Just thank you, really. I think especially for me, she was one of the players that got me into football, really. I just think she's a legend, not only for City, just for football in the UK in general. So thanks, Steph.
Oh, it's massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at all the people that are here today and just inspiring a generation. Yeah.
So, do you have a best memory or a message for her as it's her last game?
Thank you. It's been amazing. We're so proud of everything you've achieved and set the bar for everybody that's going to follow.
And how do you feel about it being Steph's last game? Emotional or...?
Yeah, it's emotional actually, but really proud to be here and to celebrate with her.
And there's going to be plenty more of that from now until the end of the show. Nothing but love for our legend Steph Houghton. Just going back there, when we were chatting to Gavin Tash, we were chatting off camera. Actually, I know we mentioned the spine, but what he did create and build actually has been key to what we're seeing now. The players you mentioned, you forget, big names and so early on in the career.
Yeah, well, we were just chatting, and I remember they took a punt on Kira Walsh. She was playing at Blackburn Academy. She got turned down by Liverpool women at the time. They took it in because they saw something in her. Obviously, like an incredible footballer, and look what she's done since.
Yeah.
And then you got the likes of bringing Georgia Stanway in on trial. Again, brought her in from Blackburn. Ella too, obviously me as well.
Of course.
Don't forget yourself.
But I think when you look at what Gavin did, his CV or the calibre of players he brought in, unbelievable. Would probably compete with the most successful business people within football, even on the men's side, to what he's done and what they've gone on to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shaun, we're not privy to it, but there are those minds and those people behind the scenes that just see the game or players differently and have the ability to build a squad like that.
Yeah, there's always going to be those people there. I think the key thing is the fact that he's noticed something in all of those players that Tash has just brought up. He's noticed that they're going to be a part of City's history in becoming to where they are now, and that's not something easy. You're born with a knack like that. You don't just work on it and it just appears. He just knows football and understands how he wants a team to play and how a team should play, and that makes it a little bit easier for him to go out and find those hidden gems that he has got.
Can I just go on something quickly?
Absolutely,
we were just talking
Tash,
about a system and getting players. So I look back now, and they tried to still get the same type of players, profiles, as what they've got now. So obviously when I was a bit younger, I was a lot quicker than what I am now, but you had myself on one wing that was fast, i.e. you got Lauren Hemp occupying that. We had a Tony Duggan who was like a hold-up 9 and could run channels and finish, Bunny Shaw.
Yes.
You had Kira Walsh early days and Jen Beattie, which is Hasagawa now.
Yes.
So Jill Scott, the legs. You're looking at Laura Coombs.
Yeah.
Again, looking back, it's exactly the same principle as what it is now, and it shows that the system outlives any player.
Yeah. You want to keep that kind of blueprint and that structure in place. Listen, let's go to the Arsenal team news. So as we know, 2 wins will but secure the WSL title. The first one, though, is we've got to beat Arsenal today at the Joie Stadium. They line up like this. This is their starting 11. Zinsberger in nets. Then we've got Fox. I have to say as well, great to see Leah Williamson returning from that bad injury that she got. Godina, McCabe, Palova, Manham, Mead, Cooney Cross, Lacasse and Hayley Russo completes the starting 11 up front. Big names in that Arsenal team, Tash, and it's exactly what you said at the start. This isn't going to be an easy game for the City girls.
It's really not, and I think the only thing that, for me, that I would be concerned at is Alessia Russo. She is a very good player. Can we just talk? We had Shaun Goater talking about Benny Shaw, what she does. Alessia Russo does exactly the same thing. Can hold it up, can link the play. Pretty clever in how she can move off the ball, on the ball. So for me, I wouldn't expect anything less. I don't know about you, Shaun, but I wouldn't expect anything less.
No, they've come here to try and win a game. They've come here to try and upset Man City's mood. If you think about the last 5 games City's had where they've won 5, Arsenal's done similar but only drawn 1. So that tells you what level they're at and how they're playing, and they score goals. So we first have to stop them as well as playing our game. And then when we do get a chance to play the way we know to play, express ourselves and create chances, and we have to be clinical today.
Williamson coming back into the team as well. How big is that for Arsenal, but also how much more difficult is that going to make it for us to score a goal today?
Yeah, look, I think she's a very talented football player. She's a leader first and foremost, and I think that's probably what maybe Arsenal might have missed when she was injured first. But for me, I would see it as an opportunity if I was a Lauren Hemp or Chloe Kelly, because she's not going to be probably at her peak because of ACL. It takes a lot longer. She's had a couple of setbacks as well. So for me, I would be looking at it as, you know, she's not at her best. So maybe this could be our opportunity to maybe hurt them.
Yeah.
But she's still very clever. She drops off when she can. She reads the game pretty well for someone so young. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be easy, but for me, I would see her as potentially an opportunity to run the channels.
Also, we know how City like to play, Shaun. Maybe for those who might not have watched too much of Arsenal, what can we expect to see from the Arsenal team today?
They're going to come. They're going to try and play.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you have Russo up there, you can play direct as well. And I don't know, sometimes that can play into City's hands, but we need to really focus on retaining possession of the ball. Don't relax too much and give away silly opportunities to get hit in transition. And I think if we can do that and push them high up the field and keep them as deep as possible, and we'll have good control of the game, as well as protecting ourselves from the transition counter-attack.
And Tash, looking at those midfield battles as well, we're looking at some of the names there. Some tasty matchups, but do you feel City have got it in the locker to come out on top?
I think if Hasegawa can control the tempo,
yes,
and potentially stop Kim Little doing that for Arsenal, I think City have a very good chance. But like Shaun said, you're not going to get many opportunities in this game, so whenever they get a chance to be in the box or to get a shot, it's got to be clinical.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess as well, there is also, when we look to the bench as well, on either team, there's problems there and threats that could also come on and impact the game later on, Shaun.
Well, that's what Gareth's built. He's built a squad that he trusts in, that he can call upon at any time. Like, I think Shaun Goater hit the nail on the head where he says, look, Bunny's most probably one of the best strikers in the world right now. But the team can still survive. They still have players to do it. Chloe Kelly comes in, plays well. Mary steps up to the play. Hemp will step up to the play. So to have that in your arsenal and that belief just makes your squad even stronger. Sometimes you only need 3 of those players off the bench to be able to carry a certain level, and those 3 players can change a game on the flick of a coin, basically.
Absolutely. Well, listen, well, just behind you, we've got Jill Roord. So let's bring Jill Roord in. Welcome along to Matchday Live. How are you, Jill? Thanks so much for joining us. First and foremost, how's the recovery going?
Really good, actually. I'm at 3 months now and started running last week, so feeling good.
Feeling good, that's very exciting. Now, we know it's 2 wins and the WSL title is City's. What is the vibe and the energy amongst the squad today and at the moment?
I think everybody's really exciting. Obviously, we want to win today and then next week. But no, it's a big game. It's nice weather. Everybody's excited.
Yeah, you've not got the Manchester rain today, which is nice. It's almost like the sun's come out for Steph. Now, as we know, it's Steph's final home game. Just could I get a word on what is she like as a teammate and how important is she to this squad?
Very important. She, like, I'm personally, I'm really happy that I got to play with her for 1 season, because she is like, she's like an icon. She's such a leader, on and off the pitch. She's always there for everyone, and yeah, she's gonna be missed.
Yeah, she really is. The squad, though, as well, we were just saying, it's got so much strength in depth. It seems to be one of the greatest assets, you know. The fact we've got no Bunny Shaw, but then you've got Chloe Kelly, Mary Fowler. Do you feel that within the team that there's that trust there and the ability all over the pitch for whoever comes in can do what's needed?
Absolutely. I think that has helped us this season a lot. Apart from injuries, but also just games, people that came on have changed the game, and I think really everybody contributed this season, and yeah, that's quality.
And for yourself as well as a whole, how have you found the season, bar the injury, but have you enjoyed your time here at City so far and in Manchester?
Very much. I'm really happy I came here. I love the way we play, the way we train. like the whole vibe around the team, and I hope in 2 games I will be standing here with the cup. So yeah, I'm very happy.
So do we, Jill. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us as well. Best of luck with the recovery, and good luck as well today.
Thank you.
I'll grab that from you. Thank you. Jill Roord. Oh, thanks, producer Daryl there. What an acquisition as well with Jill. Shame that she can't play today, but it's been really great this season, Tash.
Yeah, I thought, when she was at Arsenal, she didn't play that much, but I felt like she was probably one of their most dangerous players, especially her link-up play with Miedema. Very technical player, but got legs as well. So, she's got an engine, but very clever. Played against her, wasn't very nice chasing her around that often. But, unfortunately, injuries happen to everyone. It's just how you come back from them, and I'm sure she's at the right place to get back to 100%.
Really well, so obviously, you're saying there, didn't play too much at Arsenal. Can you get some insider knowledge when you've been at clubs previously?
Yeah, of course you can, but I think that kind of goes back to what Tash was saying before and what I said earlier about the actual system, because it didn't work for her at Arsenal. She's come to Man City, and it kind of works. Some players just suit certain clubs and playing styles better than the other, but really wishing her a speedy recovery, and it's just something that happens, isn't it, really?
Of course. We mentioned there as well, obviously celebrating Steph Houghton's final home game at the Joie Stadium. Haven't asked you what it was like, and you were with Steph obviously earlier on as well, and even just hearing how happy Jill was to have played one season with her. What is Steph like off the pitch, but on the pitch as well, Tat?
Yeah, for me, she was amazing. When I came to City, I was one of the doctors called me a bit of a maverick. I didn't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult. I didn't quite understand, but she was really good with channeling my madness into football, which I'll always be forever grateful for. She always demanded high standards. The football training had to be at a certain level, and she led it by example, and that's what you want. But off the pitch, I can't say enough about her. She's kind, she's thoughtful, puts everyone first before herself, and she always sees the bigger picture in things. So it might be a small gesture to her, but in the long term, it has a massive ripple effect on everyone else. So amazing person.
And you also probably can't understate as well, when we had Gavin on there before, how key she has been to the last 10 years and how successful this Manchester City women's team has been, but how much it's grown as well, Shaun.
Well, that for me is part of history. It's something that nobody is ever going to forget, and it's somebody that we're all going to always be talking about, because effectively she was one of those key players that started this. And even if she wasn't here now today, she would still be in a conversation of Gavin brought Steph Houghton to the club. Do you know what I mean? And she's built this, but for her to actually be a part of what's been built and still retire here today makes it that much more special, and she deserves everything she gets.
And I think with her as well, I obviously, not that I used to go to a lot of pubs when I was playing, obviously not, but when you talk to just the normal average Joes, they always said Steph Houghton. Never knew much about women's football, but they knew who she was.
Yes.
So I think that says a lot about what she did in terms of carrying women's football. Especially after 2012, she carried women's football. And I was okay to hang on to her coattails, because being Welsh, I got all the success from the English girls. So, that just says a lot about her.
Yeah, it really, really does. Well, listen, more Steph loving to come, but now we're going to take a moment to reflect on how Man City got here. This has been a big title race. We're 2 wins away. We wanted to look at some key games that brought us to this point. The first one being earlier on in the season. We went 1-0 down against United to come back and win 3-1. That was after a defeat as well. That felt like almost a bit of a turning point earlier on that game, Tash.
Yeah, and I remember, I think they were kind of up and down with regards to consistency. And I think to show the resilience to come back in that game and beat your closest rivals, for them, that would probably have given them that big confidence shift and momentum going into the next few games. And I remember doing a Conti Cup game here at Leicester at home, and they took their foot off the gas. And I remember Gareth Taylor at the end of the game said there was too much complacency. So I think to them, they kind of understood that that's a kick up the bum.
Yes.
You can't be complacent. You have to want more, you have to deliver more, you have to, expectations, when you get better, they go higher.
Yes.
So you have to stay with that. But yeah, that United game was definitely a big shift.
Was a big one. The next one that we've earmarked was the away win to Chelsea. I mean, of course, as we know, they're the ones that are pushing us right to the end. Hopefully, if they lose later on today, the title will be ours. But this is an amazing Chelsea team, and to get that win, Shaun, it felt massive.
It was more than massive, I think, in terms of where they had come from the game before that United game, obviously, that losing those games. And then Gareth, I think, has an interview and he says, well, now to win the league, we have to pretty much be perfect, nearly go unbeaten. And
yes.
Have they done that and then some? And they're still going. Now they've changed the position of goal difference. Now their advantage goal difference for them when they was chasing Chelsea with that part at some point in the season. So they've turned it around in such a way that complacency that Tash was just talking about no longer existed.
Nah.
After Gareth had that conversation with them, they got it. And this is what we're getting from it. We're getting to be here on days like this.
Yes.
I have a chance for them to actually possibly put a nail in the coffin to win the title today.
Yes, yeah.
And that is hard work and dedication, and that just shows you how driven not only the coaching staff, these group of women are to win this trophy.
Well, that's what's so interesting as well, because really, Tash, when we're talking about those kind of key turning points, the system that we speak about didn't change. The football we were playing, it was just more the work. It kind of took an extra 10%, I guess. There was no tactical tweaks, really, was there?
No, and I think, the men are the same. No matter who plays, the system stays the same, but you still have to press hard.
Yes.
You still have to work hard off the ball. And I think that's what the girls are showing now. They're being hard to beat, but also relentless in scoring. So go back to the game they played against Bristol. They scored. They were running to get the ball.
Yeah.
It was like Shaun said, there was no complacency. It was, we're getting the ball.
Yeah.
To score more.
Yeah.
So, a win today potentially gives Chelsea an even more of a reach. But I think if they can hammer it with the goal difference as well, that's what they want.
That's what they want. Listen, well, let's take a pause here. Let's hear from some fans of what they made of this year's title race.
So what are your thoughts on the season as a whole?
I think it's been one of the City women's best seasons so far. It's been very interesting to be. So I think very confident we'll get over that finishing line.
So what's been your favourite moment of the season?
I can't remember, there's been so many. I liked Hasegawa's goal this season, the Thunder Strike. I thought that was a very good moment. The last home game where we won 5-0 against West Ham, that was a good game. Oh yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the season as a whole?
Yeah, we're going to do it all the way. Yeah, we're going to do it.
What's been your favourite moment of the season?
Steph Houghton is a good player.
Steph Houghton. It's the last game.
Yeah. And how would you feel if we won the race, the title race?
Well, we can do it. It's 3-0 time.
3-0.
I think it'd be really good for Steph, because obviously it'll be like a last season. I think it'd be really good for her.
And as we're closing into the last two games of the season, are there any words of encouragement that you'd like to tell the team?
Just give it your all, really.
Yeah.
It's been quite good, I can't lie.
Yeah, they've been amazing. What's been your favourite moment of the season?
Probably like the goals, like Bristol City's Mo Fowler. When we were against United and it's the derby day and Jess Park nearly got like hat-trick.
And how would you feel if we won the title race this season?
I'll be really happy.
Yeah, over the moon. And as we're closing into the last two games of the season, are there any words of encouragement that you'd like to tell the team?
Just go for it. You do your best and you'll get there, even if through hard times.
Come on, City! So how would you feel if we won the title race this season?
Absolutely buzzing.
Elated. Yeah, they deserve it, they really do. They've worked so hard.
And we're closing into the last two games of the season. Do you have any words of encouragement for the girls?
We can
do it. Do what you do best.
We can do it without a doubt.
What are you doing? We're going to do it. Chelsea up at top. Well, they're not on the top yet, but prevent them from getting there, we'll do it.
If you've just joined us, welcome to MatchDay Live. If you're still with us, thanks for sticking with us. We are building up to this massive WSL clash as we welcome Arsenal to the Joie Stadium and, of course, celebrating the legend Steph Houghton's final home game here. She was just behind us actually warming up, and I can tell you, the atmosphere is building. The stadium is filling. We've got Arsenal fans filling up there over to my left. We had a live band playing just there, and they've just finished now, actually, so it's a bit calm drama. And actually over to our right as well, City fans filling up. So getting very excited for the game, which kicks off very shortly. But we now want to talk about a lady who's not playing today, sadly, due to an injury picked up, but has been key to this title charge. None other than Bunny Shaw. That is because as well, she won the Football Writers Association Award, and amazingly she did this securing the most number of votes ever in the history of this award. 53% she won of the vote. Can we understate just how good she is? Shaun Goater said before, Tash, for him, best striker in the world in that position.
Yeah, I think what she does, and I mean, whatever Shaun says, we're all going to agree with, isn't it? But we're not going to go against
Not all
him.
the time. We go out because he doesn't shoot outside the box.
I'm just going to agree all the time. But yeah, I think, you know, I've played against her. I remember once I had to mark her on a corner, and I was just thinking, I'm going to let her go. Like, I just kind of accepted it, and I actually did. I let her go. I mean, I could have used a trampoline. I still would have got her as high as it. But I think her all-round game, I think she's amazing. And when we did the interview last game against United, she was stood next to us, and I mean, it's not hard, but she was a unit.
Yeah.
But she can run off behind on the shoulder. She's got a soft touch. She can be aggressive, she can hold you up, she can score delicate goals, she can score fierce goals, great with her head. Like, for me, all-round package, I think, yeah, she has got to be probably the best in the world at the minute.
And you've got to say as well, a key component, Shaun, not to point out the obvious, in the success this team has had this season and the very reason we're here today. I mean, she scored 22 goals in all competitions this season, 21 of those leading her to the top of the Women's Super League scoring charts as well. So the proof is in the pudding.
It definitely is, and I think, like Tash said, when you're working with like a player like Shaun Goater to help you in those areas that you may not be too sure of, in many ways it's not much people better, because like I said, he wasn't somebody that scored oftenly outside the box. So if you can get to grip with what happens in the box,
yes,
and the chances that City create with the players behind them, you're going to get a lot of opportunities. And I think the way Bunny plays, she knows that. She's not scared of missing a chance,
yes,
because she believes I'm going to do better on the next one, and another one will come.
Yes.
And when that another one does come, I have to be in that right frame of mind that that one didn't matter. It's almost like this is a whole new chance,
yes,
and I'm going to take this chance, and that's what she does. And you see her in front of goal, she's phenomenal.
It's such a... Sorry.
Yeah, just going off what Shaun said, I think I can't echo that enough. Any young striker or any player within the WSL, I think a lot of players struggle with making a mistake. Whereas with Bunny Shaw, I feel like she's accepted a mistake's going to happen. When it does, she never thinks about it. You can see sometimes in players, they dwell on it for about 20 seconds, maybe more. So I can't echo what Shaun said enough. She accepts there's going to be mistakes, but that doesn't hinder her performance. I think that's where I think she sets herself above everyone else.
I loved as well, if you remember, we got to interview her post the United game, the derby at the Etihad, which we won. Of course, she scored. But spoke about how it's also her teammates demand that offer, and she accepts that kind of pressure in a way. So, I don't know, I guess the team ethos around it as well also contributes to why she's scoring so many goals.
Yeah, well, I remember saying after that, I mean, if I was any other team in the league and they expect and demand more from her, I'd be pretty worried. So it just shows that she also still has levels to go.
Yes,
We might only be seeing an 80% Bunny Shaw.
Yeah. That's right.
I hope that's the case.
Yeah, I do.
I hope that's the case.
So the fact that girl and player might still have another 20%, wow.
And also, Shaun, we do have to say, because she said it as well, when you score that many goals, you'll know when you're scoring, you're also scoring them because of your teammates around you, and she's got some amazing creative players that have helped her to shine.
Yeah, and that's why you got to remember the players like your Fowlers, your Kellys, your Hemps, your Jess Parks, your Hasegawas, your Coombs, because they make those chances happen.
Yeah.
Like, whether you think it's that main assist that makes that chance, it's not. Sometimes it's two passes before that opens the game wide up to allow that assist to be possible. And that doesn't come without her teammates, whether it's coming from the defenders or the goalkeeper. They play massive parts in the movement for her to be able to get those chances and score them.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Bunny Shaw, our leading goal scorer, has been key in getting us into this position, and of course as well, winner with a record vote of the Football Writers Association Award, thoroughly deserved, and massive congratulations to Bunny Shaw. Now Tash, later on you're going to be joining Mike Manet on commentating, so let's hear what Mike is thinking ahead of today's game against Arsenal.
Thanks, Kel. Yeah, 20-game season real boils down to just a 2-game season now, doesn't it? Manchester City know they're in control of their own destiny. They could have it wrapped up tonight. If City win and Chelsea lose, the title is Manchester City's. But it has really come down to this, and so often this season we've had to look beyond the points tally, Colin. We've had to go into goals difference and goals scored, and for every time Chelsea scored 3, you wondered if City would have to score 4 or 5, but that all changed on Wednesday night when Chelsea lost in injury time to Liverpool. It gives Manchester City now that advantage. They're in control of their own destiny. They know that these 2 games are crucial. And when City lost to Arsenal and Brighton back-to-back early in the season, you wondered whether they could do it. No side's ever won the WSL with more than 2 defeats in a single campaign. And there was a long, long way to go in the season at that point. But City got themselves together. They're on that record run of 14 WSL games unbeaten. They've had to do it through adversity as well. They're battling a little bit of that now with losing Bunny Shaw. And there's questions about the goals last weekend. Who would get them? Where would they come from? Wasn't an issue in the end. 4-0 scoreline over Bristol City. You look at Jill Roord, you spoke to her earlier in the build-up. She's still the 3rd highest goal scorer Manchester City have this season with 6 league goals, but they've missed her for what, after the 2nd, 3rd game of the season. That's how impactful Jill Roord has been. But they've united, they've found the goals from elsewhere. Mary Fowler most recently chipping in with 2 big goals against Bristol City last weekend, and I think that helps strengthen how important the 14 games the 14-game winning run has been to Manchester City. Gareth Taylor very consistent as well with his team selections. Very few changes week in, week out. It's settled, consistent. Everyone, you know, they have that team synergy. Everyone knows how they're going to work. But the wait does seem to be ending. The 8-year wait since Manchester City last won the WSL. It'll mean a lot to the squad, not least, of course, Steph Houghton, the real leader. Gareth Taylor said last week, 0-0 at half-time against Bristol City. She did his team talk for him. That's how much she takes that role of formerly club captain, but the ambassadorial role that she needs in that changing room as well. 3 WSL titles. She wants a 4th. 5 FA Cups, 7 League Cups as well. There's 2 other captains. There's the other 2, you know, within the squad. The current captain, I should say, Alex Greenwood. She's won it all domestically for every club she's played for. She's won FA Cup. She's won League Cup. She's won the Champions League, but she's never won the WSL. That is so close for her right now. City's confidence obviously has to be high, but they've got to get through these 2 games. Remain grounded. They are nearly there.
Are we back? We're back. Sorry, it's very loud here in the Joie Stadium. We've had another band just take to the stage. Thanks for bearing with us. My name is Cel. I'm with Shaun, Wright-Phillips and Tash. We are, of course, building up to our game against Arsenal. Now, before we get final thoughts, we've had a few WhatsApp questions come in. So thank you so much to everyone for sending these in. Begin with this one from Rachel, Tash. What would be one of your favourite moments of Steph in a City shirt?
We're going to have to move pretty quick.
I think we might get away with it.
No, I'm ready.
So, yeah, I would probably say when probably the 2nd year that she was there. Sorry, guys. And we got 2nd in the league.
Who's like this?
And for City to qualify for the Champions League was an amazing thing. And it was down to her probably setting the standards that year, being able to control 16 international players, to drive us forward all the time. I thought for me, one of the best, if not the best captain I've ever worked with.
Amazing, what an answer. Thank you, Tash. Lauren wanted to know, what would be one of your favourite goals scored this season?
To be honest, it would be one of the recent ones. Bunny Shaw, a header from the Hemp cross. The way she's guided that into that top corner, I think, against West Ham, I thought that was unbelievable. That would be one of my favourites, because as well, I think that took her past the 50 mark, or 50 goals for Man City, maybe. Wow. So, yeah.
Unbelievable. This is a great one from Matt, actually. Now, we haven't had a chance to really speak about it too much, but how good has Keaton been this season, and how good has it been to have her in goal?
I think we've seen the season this year where she's really developed develop. You've seen her grow in front of your eyes. So she's had some howlers, which we can all be honest about the Arsenal goal earlier on in the season. But I think when you have a bad game, or you can have a great game, it's how you react. What does that longevity look like? How does that reaction can't just be the next game, it's got to be continuous. And she's literally since that moment has grown into being the number one at Man City. And you know, to keep the likes of Sandy McIver, I know she got injured, but Ellie Roebuck as well, says a lot. And you know, she's still really young.
Yeah, she and also as well, when you watch, she also has that, like, I mean, all keepers have it, but like real fearlessness.
Yeah, she's very brave.
Yeah, she's so brave, isn't she, Shaun?
Very. I noticed that in the last game as well.
I guess as well, though, for defenders, though, knowing that you've got someone who's willing to really throw the body on the line, it gives them confidence as well in a way, Tash.
Yeah, and I think, you know, back four gets their confidence from the goalkeeper. If your goalkeeper's playing well and feeling fearless, sometimes that could probably work the other way as well, because you're not sure what she's going to do. But I think they're pretty confident in her, and they believe in her enough that they're pretty secure, and that then breathes through the rest of the team. But for me, again, similar to Bunny Shaw, I think she's still got a lot more to even develop, to get better. I think you'll see her really come into her own in the next 2 years. I think, you know, looking potentially at hitting that England squad in a regular starting lineup.
Yeah, so excited to see what's to come. And we forget that as well, actually, the squad, there's a lot of young players in there that were still very much at the start, so great things ahead for sure. And finally, Josh, thanks for getting it in, because it gives me a chance to talk about my favourite player. Josh wanted to know, what do we think of Hasegawa in this side, and how key has she been in this title race? Sean? Hey, listen, we can have it till the end of the show.
We don't have enough time, for one. First of all, I think that's the player we always speak about as well.
Even if she wasn't in the squad, you'd talk about her.
I think she's phenomenal. And it's almost like she flies under the radar apart from within the City fan base. You don't really hear much spoken about her elsewhere. And like, I came to watch her the first time in her first year, and I watched her, and then I had to go to work with Lescott after her. I said, Lescott, you better go and watch the girls play and watch Hasegawa. He went to watch her play, and he texted me and said, Shaun, oh my God, she's unbelievable. And since then, we kind of both just keep an eye on her and see how she's doing and watch her play football. Because the way she is, it's beautiful to watch her play. The way she manipulates the ball, the way she finds space. Because sometimes when you're smaller, as Tash will tell you, and you have to find other ways to play, because most people are bigger than you.
Yes.
But she's always a step ahead of that. So even if that way to play that she has just found is closed off, she has a way out of that way and still picks a pass that breaks the lines to open things up. I think she's phenomenal.
And she's good at winning the ball off you as well.
It's phenomenal.
It's almost like she reads your touch. So then she just takes it. It never looks like a tackle, it just looks like an interception.
But also, she really does feel almost like, you mentioned it at the start of the show, she's key in like dictating the tempo, our rhythm, and also basically it almost feels a bit like the brains of the team in a way.
Oh, massive. If Hasegawa's ticking, which not very often she doesn't, you know Man City are at the races. She controls the tempo in possession, but out of possession as well. She's encouraging the first press, the second press. She's great at breaking up the play, and then on the ball, I'd love to have been half the player that she was on the ball, because I probably would have still been playing now. But key player, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, we're just getting the team news here in the stadium. I'll quickly run through you the starting 11 if you've just joined us. Keaton in goal, Kasparai, Alexandri, Greenwood, Uabi, Hasegawa, Park, Coombs, Fowler, Hemp, and Chloe Kelly. Just some final thoughts. Tash, I'll begin with you. Big game, not an easy opposition, but have City got enough to secure the 3 points?
Yeah, I think they do, but I think Shaun hit the nail on the head. You have got to be clinical in this game. You might only get one chance. You've got to take it. So I'm not worried about defensively. For me, it's what City do with the ball.
And Shaun, for yourself, where are going to be some of the key battlegrounds on the pitch today, do you think?
I think, for me personally, that midfield area, I think if Hasegawa, Just Park and Coombs have it their own way, I think they can win this game, not comfortably, but win it in a way that they're not panicking, they're in control of certain elements.
Guess as well, Tash, we do have to think it's probably not going to go all of City's own way just because of the calibre of the opposition today.
No. Arsenal will try and spoil the party. I mean, what other better feeling is there is coming to someone's stadium with all this show and taking 3 points away from them.
Yeah. They're going to be fueled.
They're not going to roll over just because City could potentially win the game. It's still Arsenal. They're still a very, very good team.
Also, Shaun, just only because they've just taken to the bench there as well, can see Gareth Taylor, but what a moment it's going to be when hopefully we see Steph taken to the pitch as well a little bit later on.
I hope it does happen, and I hope they're in a position where they can bring her on, whether the points are secure or that we're trying to shore up. I hope we do get to see her on this pitch today.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Mike Mane has got your commentating today, so make sure you go tune into that. Tash, I believe you're going to be with him as well, and we'll be back at half-time and then at full-time. This has been an amazing show, and I'm so excited for the game. Thank you for joining us, and do come join us at half-time. Have a lovely watch, and we'll well, final thing for me to say is come on City.
Thanks, Cel. 4 points will do it. It could even be confirmed as soon as tonight. A win for City and a defeat for Chelsea will confirm a first WSL title for Gareth Taylor's side in 8 years, but the focus is solely on getting the job done here today. If not, we go to the final weekend in a couple of weeks' time. There was perhaps a surprise on Wednesday night when Chelsea lost in injury time to Liverpool. It's put City in the driver's seat. Now they need to follow the road to success and hope there is a happy ending. Manager Gareth Taylor and the squad are remaining level-headed. Control the controllables, but silverware